Oh, it is recording. Hmm, look at that. Sometimes the technology actually works with us. Hi, everyone. Welcome. We just spent an amazing 15 minutes with my co-hosts on just making sure our screen share works. And I think at least mine is showing right now, so I think we're there. Warm welcome. Thank you for joining today's webinar. We're going to be talking about the most practical AI use cases. They are from 2025, but we're going to say for 2026. And I'm here with my co-founder Henrik.
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here.
And then also with our three amazing guest presenters, Hagit, who is a marketing manager at NVIDIA,
Hi, everyone.
and Ingrid, who is the founder and managing director at HR Legal,
Hi, everyone.
and then Arun, who is the CFO. Yes, we have finance people too. Hello. From Sohn, the artisan furniture maker in UK.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. So we're going to hear from Henrik and from all the guest presenters very shortly, and which should be very exciting. Then, if you don't know us yet, which could just be the case, we are Lead with AI, transformation partner, people-centric transformation partner for organizations, usually between 500 and 5,000 people who need to roll out AI adoption and upskilling across their entire company. We also do executive training. We have a great community and membership of over 400 global leaders in Lead with AI Pro. And then we also run strategies and champion programs and basically anything that you would ask us to do to make sure that everyone in your company gets the benefit from AI. And we've done that for a lot of very wonderful clients, including people at McKinsey, BCG, Amazon, EY, Toyota, Microsoft, Lego Group, Prudential, Sodexo, and so on. Which is great. And I'm Dan, founder, CEO. And over the past 2 years, I've been coaching a lot of these leaders on how to implement AI and gain the full benefits. And up until late last year, I was doing it all by myself. But as I said, I'm now here with my co-founder. So introducing Henrik Jarlskog.
Oh, thank you very much, Dan. Yes, my name is Henrik. I'm here as the example augmented executive. I've spent the last 20 years within the Fortune 500 environment, either as a leader or executive, or actually strategy consultant for a number of years as well, doing big transformations. About 18 months ago, I jumped on this Lead with AI course with Dan, and that kind of blew my mind. I was at the point at a time where I really had to rebuild my life and find more time, and I did so eventually 2 days a week. And I started building my own agents and assistants. And when I had 20, I found those 2 days a week magic of it. And I got so invested in AI that I chose to join Dan in December. So I bring this augmented executive dimension into this. Thank you. Today, we're going to bring you through what matters in 2026 from an AI perspective. And obviously, as you've already heard from Dan, we have guest speakers here, examples of people who have joined the program, who's actually going to tell us how AI now changes their way of working and how they create value in new ways. And we will also open up for a Q&A in the end of this session.
Yes, and if you are Zoom masters, which we are certainly not, then you may find the Q&A button somewhere. You can fill in your questions so that we can get to it towards the end. And then if you haven't done the program yet, or if you've done it previously and you feel like it's time for a refresher, we are launching another cohort in February, starting on February 6th. Now, we have been running this program for quite a while, 13 cohorts to be precise, and always sold out, always high NPS scores. And so the question was, why would we even tweak with it? Why would we even change it? But we felt like, as with AI is moving so fast, we got to adapt as well. We also heard that for a lot of very busy executives, like the people here on this call, that's always the one thing we always have in common, that we don't have enough time in our day. That even to implement AI, 3, 4, or 5 weeks is long. So we have deployed the help of AI to fully personalize the program and therefore being able to bring it down from 5 weeks to 2 weeks, but still with the same end outcome of having 5 AI agents, 5 AI assistants, the start of a future 20-person AI workforce that Henrik has done in those 2 weeks. And so we just launched the first cohort of that new program called AI Leader Advanced. We launched it in January. Really good feedback so far, especially on that personalization side, and are very excited to run it again in February. And so in honor of this webinar, we've put together what we think is a really great offer, which is that if you join within the next 48 hours, so you're going to take up one of the slots from the February cohort, that you're going to get $200 off. Plus, you can retake it for free anytime in the next 6 months. So as AI moves very fast, you can come back and do it again. And by that time, probably guaranteed it will be a completely new program because there's always so much news in AI. And those free retakes are always very welcome by people who do the program. And we're going to throw in a one-on-one session with either Henrik or myself. And if you choose Henrik, then I will not be angry at you. Totally fine, totally understandable. That's going to be thrown into that bundle. And then there's going to be an extra benefit if you want to bring a colleague, a peer, a friend, you can bring them in at 50% off as well. Because what we have learned studying together, right, Hagit, is so much more fun than studying alone. Even though you're already studying with a great group of 40, we kept it at 40 global leaders. And if you want to take advantage of that deal, you can go to the site, scroll to the AI Leader Advanced course, or find the URL here at the bottom and type that in. Okay, that's the pitch. Back over to Henrik.
Thank you very much, Dan. All clear. So let's dig in what the state of AI is in January 2026. Where are we right now? What's the speed of AI and what's really happening? And what are the big movements? As we all know, or most of you on this call probably, that the uptake of AI is enormously fast. Right now we have around 800 million users only on OpenAI's ChatGPT, and it's accelerating. So that's only mentioning OpenAI, but there are also, of course, other tools out there like Gemini, Anthropic, and all of these with the similar graphs. So it's historic fast uptake and evolution of this technology. Looking at what the company Ramp says, and they find that 45% of the US businesses are now paying for AI. OpenAI leads, but Anthropic grows. And that's a lot of the talk of the town right now on around Claude and Claude Cowork, for example, that we will see later on what happens. But if you look at the graph here, on the biggest usage and the biggest vendors of this is obviously OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google XI and DeepSeek. And as you see, the graphs are increasing in speed. And already now, we all know that AI can do a lot of things for us. We can create live videos that are photorealistic. We can create pictures, graphics, marketing material with only one prompt. And for people like me, who is an executive within the Fortune 500 environment, it's especially interesting that now Excel and numbers come into the game when it comes to AI. Really, if you used to do deep research in ChatGPT, for example, on qualitative data and finding sources that you have never seen before, that was only one thing, right? But now the magic is here, where you actually can work with wide, deep Excel models. You don't have to be an Excel genius anymore. And you have the tools like Lovable, for example, where you can go from one idea with one prompt to a single homepage or an app within minutes. So it's just amazing what the speed of AI is and what we actually can do. So one person can do many things suddenly. Interestingly enough, as you may have heard, OpenAI pulled a code red when Google launched new things in November, but now they have recently unveiled their GPT 5.2, and also as a response then to Gemini 3.0. What's really, really interesting with this is that for the first time, according to their GDPR, now AI outperforms 44 human level occupations, which is amazing to think about, right? So you can question it, right? If OpenAI creates a performance model and compares it to its own product and it really performs, yeah, that's questionable. But it is here to stay that the AI actually outperforms a lot of the expert level human work for the first time ever. So that's the evolution, people, that we all are in, where we are jumping on the train or not. Zapier, you may have heard about it. They have a fantastic journey when it comes to AI. Their CEO just recently as well went live and public about them being AI first, and they only employ people who are AI fluent. Whatever AI fluent means was the question, but they had to really deliver on an AI fluency matrix and really did a good job on that. Was actually pointing out what AI fluency means for different roles, different work tasks, and with different processes, and really leveling out the expectation from an AI fluency perspective on different people in the organization. So they did one of the major, say, first jobs on putting out a fluency matrix when it comes to AI. BCG, of course, are in this really in this topic and really researching, being on the forefront, delivering reports consistently. What they see is that people and companies, in particularly who make bigger investments into IT and AI, they outperform on both growth and margin. So the higher the usage, the higher the investments, the better and higher the return. So I think that's it speaks for itself, right? When people and organizations are being augmented almost to the degree of semi-autonomous or agentic, the real value compounds, and you need an investment. And in this case, it's clear that you need to do that from a people perspective first, and then go process investment. What does that mean for people like us on this call? Most of us are leaders of some kind, managers, and as Josh Bersin, a former Deloitte consultant, has coined the topic of the super worker. What is a super worker? Everyone can become one, but that means that you are really augmented with AI. You can scale your abilities, your skill sets, and you suddenly can do things that you couldn't do before because of your own limitations. But now, by building agents, assistants, really integrating AI into your workflows, more and more super workers are visible, and they are really leading the pack. So for me, what does it mean to be really practical? I already said it, but I have around 20 agents that help me out in my job. In my former job, I was a strategy director covering Europe for one of the largest organizations of this world. This meant that I also developed these agents based on those roles, everything connected to understanding and doing analysis, enabling decisions, doing marketing studies, and all of these things. But what you see on the screen here are 5 examples of my agents. So if we take Max, 9 o'clock in this picture, is my keynote thought partner. Fantastic person to work with, or AI agent based on NotebookLM. So basically, if I'm asked to do a keynote, I upload the latest and the greatest of what I've done before and tweak it towards the topic that I'm asked to present this time. Activate deep search, and it really delivers a new topic for the next presentation. Magnus, the executive advisor, which is probably the one that I use most, does everything I need to do as an executive when it comes to leading a firm. It can be executive advice, it can be analysis, it can be strategy formulation or conceptualization of concepts. That person quite often, or that agent collaborates with Jin, the quantitative decisions agents that I have from a productivity perspective. So really doing deep research with help of Magnus and maybe Jira into Claude to really do the baselining, the business case, and really enable executives that I work with to take decisions from that research in a credible manner. Because this is the thing, really showing the numbers behind what was missing before, but nowadays, AI can handle that too. Susie, the LinkedIn content writer. Yes, it is personalized on my topics, the favorite themes that I work on, and it is a personal agent, if you like. It knows my tone, it writes like me, and it proposes new topics whenever I want to, or when I see something, I upload it, and it proposes a few ways to attack that angle and that item. So these people and these agents are really collaborating. Over to you, Dan. Let's hear about your team. It's so interesting to see how it evolves every time we do this.
Well, let's be honest with the people here on the call. We had a visual like this, and it was quite outdated. And actually, a lot of those agents, they didn't work for us anymore, but we didn't want to update our org chart because we were so busy with other things. But we thought for today, come on, we got to update our charts and we got to bring some of these new agents to life. And then I actually realized we have way more agents than we thought. And also they're much deeper into our workflows than we even really thought about ourselves. So, I'll build a couple of things on there, right? But I'm more on the research side. So really keeping up with all the developments in AI. So for example, used to read 20 to 30 newsletters every day, realize that, hey, actually this idea of capturing information from newsletters, synthesizing what are the most important things because they're mentioned multiple times or they really overlap with the kind of areas that we are in. And AI can do that, right? So build an insights agent on Zapier who now reads all those newsletters for me, pulls out only the key stories, and then it gives me things that I can dive deeper on, maybe with a deep research tool, maybe with, again, a Keynote, ThoughtNote partner. And then another very practical one is, in my role, founder-led sales, speak to a lot of heads of L&D, heads of AR, heads of AI Center of Excellence, right, who want someone in to come help them with bringing a lot of people across to this side of AI, right, where we're actually deploying it in ways that are helpful and that are saving us time. But sometimes we get objections, right, in any sales process. So having an agent that sits inside Gmail, I love that about Gems, that it sits inside your email and can directly help when an objection is being made and how to handle it based on all of our historical data. And there's a lot more behind that. And so that's really the idea of this program, is to say, for me, I've been hearing about AI, I've maybe been prompting AI, right? When do we finally get to the point that these are real AIs that we can almost like feel and see and touch that actually center around us and that actually do work for us, right? And that's really in those 2 weeks what we do. We figure out what is all possible. What do the top 1% AI leaders, including the 3 guest speakers, and of course, Henrik on this call today, what do those top 1% AI leaders do differently than people normally? And that's in things like super prompting. That's in things like using AI through different modalities, right? Using it with voice mode, for example, using it with live video, right? Getting advice. So what are those differences? How would you apply that in your work? And then you start building in second week, Monday an agent, Tuesday an agent, Wednesday an agent, Thursday an agent, Friday an agent. You really leave with 5 AI agents at the end of those 2 weeks. And again, the deal stands for literally 48 hours because we've set the systems that it automatically flips over at the end of a Saturday Europe time. So that's coming up, and I'm saying that from of course, lovely to get people into the program, but we didn't start this out of we want to make money with AI training. We really started this as a mission because we're seeing there's so much possible with AI, and I think everything you've just heard so far and what you're going to see from the presenters, right? There is so much possible with AI. And in a way, the future is here. What's possible with AI today, again, Henrik mentioned cloud code work, for example, right? What's possible today is incredible. It's so incredibly unequally distributed. There is a real, in money sense, we always worried about the 1%. This is not even 1%, right? It's like the 0.001% of people who are really getting a lot out of AI. And then most people are still, as this visual from Gemini Nano Banana Pro, are still in kind of like in the dark ages, working as if AI never happened, right? Maybe some basic prompting, and that's definitely not where we should be. Henrik also mentioned the Zapier AI Fluency Matrix. So Zapier did the work and analyzed where people in their organizations are and where they should be. We had developed a model, not to say anything about Zapier, but about 9 months before that, we've upgraded it. We relaunched it last week as a completely new fluency matrix that we are now sharing open source to everyone to integrate into their teams, into their organizations. We have a great diagnostical tool that comes with that to see where people stand that you can just deploy in your own team. And what we really find is that along the stages of the AI fluency matrix that many people still fall in, unfortunately, level 0, which is risky AI, where they don't even know that hallucinations exist. They don't even know that there is bias in AI that you have to correct for. They don't know that sensitive data shouldn't be in really cool looking free AI tools, or those tools that say for $20 per month you get access to all the models. Yes, but where is your data going? So we still find a lot of that. And then we have level 1 AI leaders who have that foundational AI fluency, who are using AI safely, who are prompting well, who are using it for all the core tasks. And again, in many organizations, this is not a ladder, right? It's a portfolio. It's totally fine to have quite a few people on that level, as long as they're using AI well, they're using AI safely, they're not overlooking opportunities to implement AI. But most of us here are here because we want to get further with AI. We want to have that unfair advantage in a way. And that is now for everyone to grab. I think 2 years ago when we started this, you had to still be quite technical. There was a lot of things to learn. You were experimenting with platforms. Right now, OpenAI, ChatGPT is fantastic. Gemini is such a good suite of tools. Copilot is even, forgive me for saying, Copilot is even getting pretty good. And then there are those sort of like now mainstay platforms like a NotebookLM, like a Gamma, that is delivering so much value to people who start adopting AI. And that's really the level 2 AI fluency, where you're getting into, actually the current cohort did it yesterday. It was very interesting to see all of the exercises coming out. And again, those are leaders from Google, AXA, Harvard, Ericsson, right? Who are going now through that process and like, oh, wow, there is a big difference in just a simple prompt and a really well-structured prompt. And then advanced prompting techniques like few shot prompting or iterative prompting, right? Like these things, we have added that now into the program, right? They really reflect where people are and they get so much more out of it. Again, prompting in different modalities, right? Suddenly saying, I'm going to, instead of writing something down, I'm going to voice dictate it. I'm going to take a photo of a whiteboard that we have been workshopping with the team. Totally different ways of AIs. But again, the core really sits in that idea of figuring out where in your work the AI is going to deliver the most value and then actually step by step implement it. We also just wrapped up a fantastic final workshop with a people team of a big tech company, and then within that people team, they now have 5 agents all individually. So you're talking about like over 100 agents collectively who are doing all kinds of work that previously the people team early December last year were still doing manually. And they're coming up with all kinds of ideas of apps they can launch for the whole company and bring it to life for everyone and distribute the value, right? And that's when you're getting into level 3 AI leadership, which we really see as, you're technically maybe a step ahead, right? So you're maybe thinking about new workflows that are possible with AI. You are tapping into advanced capabilities like video gen and coding and all these kind of things, maybe building some basic agentic automations, right? You're doing all of that, but mostly you're really now in a position where you are the one to lead others, right? To catalyze others to become really fluent in AI. And again, the benefits are just incredible, right? Time back in your workday, number one, yes, of course, right? But then also quality of life, quality of work, right? All of these other things that you may always wanted, but weren't really possible until AI came to the scene. And by the way, I totally understand, before we get into that, I totally understand that time is always the most sensitive factor, right? And I would be the first one to admit, we just started with a new company where we're taking their entire executive team on this AI journey. We did a survey ahead of time, right? What is possible with AI? Where are you? Where do you want to be? What is currently your blocker? It's always time, right? And so again, the companies where we see AI transformation work out well, it's because first step is to make time in people's days, right? As a leader, for them to be able to do this experimentation, to be in a program like this, right? It starts with time, then you can implement AI, you can gain some time back, and then you can go deeper and deeper, and then you become like us here, the speakers on the screen. So I'll pause there, and time, I think, now to go over to some guest presentations to see what these agents and assistants look like in real life, in real companies, and in real leaders' workflows.
Yes, Dan. Also, just 2 seconds on it, because I think it's so mind-blowing when you think about the fluency matrix, right? Also think about the 10,000 organization. How many are actually on level 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3 today? And the big compound effects come when we actually move big chunks of people upwards in that matrix. So we thought, why don't we bring actual people showing how this is being done? And first off, Hajit, welcome, and we are so much looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you, Henrik, and thank you, Dan. Happy to be here this morning, this afternoon, depending on where you are from. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Hagit, and I'm a marketing manager at NVIDIA. I've been with NVIDIA for close to 5 years now, and been following up on the AI revolution, if you want, for that time from close, as you can see. Today, I'm delighted to share with you something that I put together as part of my training, which I started in October 2025, and I've recently completed it and got certified. So one of the biggest things that executives are challenged with today is keeping up with technology. Let me share with you today a simple tool that I've created for myself and for my teammates, so we could mitigate that. Let me do that. 1 second. Share.
We always say the hardest part of this is getting the Zoom screen share to work, and there we go.
Yeah.
As predicted.
Exactly. Okay, share.
Yes, we're seeing it now.
All
Perfect.
good?
Yeah, absolutely.
All
And again,
good.
anyone questions
Yes.
along the way, Q&A, throw it in there. And I'm sure the speakers also be happy to answer them towards the end.
Yes, please. Okay. So this is my agent mapping. As you can see, this is what I've got certified at. And one of the things that I'm going to focus on today is actually the NotebookLM experience that I've had. And I'm jumping straight to the first agent, turning business podcasts into executive-ready insights. So this is actually an idea that came about in one of our team meetings. It's very, very difficult to keep up with tech podcasts and keynotes and everything that is coming out at a very rapid pace. So what I've done here is I've used NotebookLM to upload a bunch of the latest podcast keynotes. You can use video, you can use documents, PDFs, whatever format you want. You can put links to websites and actually get the NotebookLM to work on it using AI, to summarize, cross-reference, build packages of content, and at the end, create business briefings, snackable social posts, also trade reports and other items. And it's a great research assistant, as you might have experienced. It's amazing in content curation, and it's a creator of meaningful, snackable business content that keeps updating as you upload new and more updated sources. So jumping through, how did I set up the AI assistant? Again, this is so friendly, so easy to use. So first of all, the first step is to get the sources in. You upload everything you want the NotebookLM to work on, and then you let it analyze the content. You let it, you give it time to generate its briefings and everything it needs to be able to do what the outcome. And then you can ask it questions. You can create assets. You can create snackable summarizations, quizzes, podcast presentations. Very, very easy, and also very easy to distribute at the end. So I'm going to jump to the next slide.
I
So
think
here-
somehow your slides are frozen. I still see the first one.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe reshare. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Okay, my bad. Okay, so I can go back for a second and show. So, if you want to see how this assistant is actually being activated, okay? So we put in all the sources. I'll show you in a minute because I have some snippets of the tool itself. You put in everything that you want the tool to work on, everything related articles, press releases, and you let it jump into create this conversation. This is actually how it looks. Okay, so on the left side, you have all the sources listed. In the middle, it already creates some kind of analysis, and then you can start to converse with the tool itself and ask it questions. You can get it to be more exact to what you need, give it specific topics to relate to, compare with other topics, and on the right side, you can actually choose which kind of output you can get out of it. Whether this is going to be an audio overview, reports, video overview, quizzes, mind maps, which are very useful in terms of getting to understand how the rationale is working. And again, this has been updated as you add more sources and you keep it updated yourself. Quickly, I'm gonna jump back to this slide. So what kind of examples you can get from the tool? So executive summaries that you can get the names defined by the tool, micro insight posts, thematic briefs, and looking at that, the amount of time you save, and as we know, time is our most precious resource, something that we can never get back, and something that you wish that you had more of. So you actually save so much time with it, and the fact that this is not something that you need to build and rebuild every time, you can just keep it updated, actually keeps it even more resourceful and time saving.
Thank you, Hajit. Just thinking about time here for the rest of the webinar. Talking about time, we need to press on here. But obviously, Notebook LM, a fantastic tool to do research and really quick up and digest things, like going from a 300-page PDF in no time and really understanding the bits and pieces and using that for marketing. So thank you. Let's go further to Arun, another one of our star students in the program, really showing a few of the agents at play. Take the stage, Arun.
Hi, thank you, Henrik, and thank you everyone for having me. So just starting with some very quick background. Hopefully you can see my screen share, but I'll start with some background. My name's Arun Joshi. I'm CFO at Sohn in London. We manufacture in the UK and sell furniture, lighting, fabrics, and wallpapers. I'm a graduate of cohort 11 of the Lead with AI program last September. When I joined, I was quite curious about AI, and I thought I had quite a competent level of understanding, but I quickly discovered that I had a lot to learn. Thankfully, I left the program with the confidence to build some practical solutions, which was a big win. You can see some of these assistants on screen now, which do cover a broad range of areas. I won't dwell on all of these. Clearly, I'm not level 3 yet because I've missed a trick as I haven't named my assistant. So that's probably my next step.
Naming is totally optional.
So yes, I won't dwell on all of them given the busy agenda, but I would like to talk to you a little bit more about one of them, which is the tool I designed to assess driving forces and motivational behaviors. The use case really is to understand what drives people at work. It produces a DISC style of insight, which many of you have probably seen before. So a DISC assessment essentially tells you which behavior may be your natural tendency. DISC stands for dominance, influence, steadiness, compliance. It's really particularly useful in understanding team dynamics and how teams could work most effectively together. For example, in a management team, you might ask each person within a management team to complete an assessment and plot their results on a wheel to understand the dynamics between the team. We've also found it particularly useful in recruitment, actually, and especially in senior hires, which can give you some insight into how that person's character might fit within your senior team. In terms of the setup, I decided to use a custom GPT to set this assistant up. It obviously required training and various iterations, which is quite common with AI. You learn to understand how to train the AI to respond in the way you want it to. So there's various things which were entered into the knowledge base, prior frameworks, and examples of the type of output that was required, and just explaining the structure and the outcomes that I wanted. The AI then, by itself, came up with 60 tailored survey questions, which would form the basis of the assessment, which the participant would fill in. I decided to use SurveyMonkey to distribute those. And I will now come on to what those questions look like. So just an example on the left-hand side, just one of the questions that the AI came up with, one of the 60, and this is a snapshot from SurveyMonkey, but you have to select one which is most like you, one which is least like you. The output then, the raw data, as you can see on the right-hand side, comes in a CSV file, and we upload that back into the AI. And then the AI works its magic and gives you some results, something like this. So I'm just showing you on the left-hand side, the individual who completed this assessment. The prior assessment is on the left-hand side, which was done professionally. And it shows that the person's firmly in the S quadrant, the steadiness quadrant. Steadiness is kind of characteristics of calmness, patience, consistency. It may or may not have been me. On the right-hand side, you'll see the AI output. So again, quite impressively, firmly in the S quadrant. Looking at the graphs just very quickly, you can see that the distribution also between DI, S, and C is quite similar actually between both. So again, it just shows that the AI has really got this correct. In the background, there is a narrative report which goes into a little bit more detail about how best to work with this person, how best to approach issues, etc., etc. And you can iterate those reports and how you want them to look as much as you wish, really. I think I will stop there because I think my time's up, but I hope that was
very impressive, Aaron, and thank you for the presentation. It's amazing. So like we have all been there with corporate systems, and now you see how we can do this on our own with the help of AI. So thank you very much. And up next we have Ingrid Clementsson from Sweden, close to me. So welcome.
So thank you for being here. I will start to share my screen and do the presentation of me at the same time as I'm giving my work cases. So I joined the cohort in October, and I was very interested but quite reluctant because given the fact that I'm a lawyer. So all of the AI agents should be sort of, you could build AI agents when it's general, error-friendly, and digital. And I was really stuck on the fact that my work is not error-friendly, because then you would need a lawyer. So I was quite stuck on that, but we progressed. I progressed at least somewhat during the program. And finally, I created my AI agents. And I will focus on the ones, I will actually show you how I'm working with it sort of hands-on. And I started to think that when I was a junior lawyer, what were the tasks that you were given? You were a paralegal, and you obtain sometimes secretary advanced materials and work, and sometimes you were given sort of you should do drafts for your senior leaders. So given that, I created Perry Paralegal. So he's actually helping me doing the first drafts. For example, I used him the other day. I had 2 different competition clauses, and I sort of sent them in to him and asked him, and we were sort of debating about that, and I obtained a suggestion. So it's not completely it's really helping me to create ease in the facts with my work tasks. And we'll show you more here. I'm actually working a lot with the EU Transparency Directive, which is coming up. I guess no one in Europe has missed that. So I have held a course in Swedish, and I actually asked the educator, Eric, the educator, which I'm using, and I asked him to translate all of a previous course that I've been given. And it's really translated into a really good English version. And then I took it and I asked him to improve it. And then I went to the Notebook LM, and I enclosed the course, and I asked for Notebook LM to do some quiz. They made a recording to me, they made a video, and it actually turned out in this case in Swedish because the settings are in Swedish, but then I just asked him, and Eric presented these are quiz questions, and I demanded them to be fun. I don't know how much fun this is truly, but it's really nice that you could sort of obtain quizzes and videos and to send out. And I also use a lot. Then I sort of go back and then I use a lot my LinkedIn lawyer. So I enclosed the presentation, and he created 3 blog posts for me about this course. And then I asked for an invitation to the course plan. So this is really sort of me navigating forth and back with my AI agents, and that's basically sort of how I'm. Oh, sorry. I think it was
super impressive, Ingrid, and I really like the fact that you're a legal representative working with AI. Some people are skeptic when it comes to the legal side, but here we have a live case where you are becoming a super worker with help of AI, as Aaron is as well from a performance and HR perspective, and Hajit from a marketing perspective. So really handing over again to you here now, Dan, having heard those examples of people who are attending the course and building, let's take it further.
Perfect. Okay. Well, I'll close out because we're at time. Very good to see, I think, like a run through of everything that's possible with AI, and then some real practical implementation. It's just super impressive to see the work from these 3. I'll just close out on something that I said in the workshop we ran earlier, which to me is now really the big thing to think about, which is that everything we've been seeing so far in terms of level 2 AI leadership, implementing AI into your work, it's starting to become the hygiene level. It's starting to become for a knowledge worker that gets paid for his thinking or her thinking or for the work you do. This is now the level that you need to play at. But we also need to kind of acknowledge that that is not where it's going to stop, right? So obviously AI capabilities are going to increase, but much more importantly, if you've ever had to answer the question, yes, we're trying things with AI. Yes, we are investing in tools. We're investing maybe in training from companies like Lead with AI. But where is the actual return on that investment, right? Of the money, of people's time? BCG news study came out 2 weeks ago, very clearly said that all of this that we're looking at right now is just, it's nice, it's good, it's definitely better than what we did before, but the only real ROI is going to come in when we start to have AIs work semi-autonomously and fully autonomously. So evolving all of what we've seen so far into something that an agent does on your behalf or does with you. And you can think about tools like Deep Research, where it goes off and goes through 100 sources to pull together a report that you can then turn into, like Hagit showed, into a podcast, into a video, into an infographic, and tools like what Henrik mentioned, Claude Cowork, which came out this week, which can live on your computer and for the first time actually navigate screens like a human and can build PowerPoints and can execute things. We're getting now finally to the point where the real ROI is coming in, which is AI that does work autonomously and where you are really orchestrating your team of AIs. Now, not to say that that's where you have to start, because I don't want to scare people, but again, the offer here to join the program, to start like these leaders by at least implementing 5 assistants into your work in the next 2 weeks from when we kick off in February, and then evolve that into where the real value, where the real ROI is going to be, which is when the AI finally gives us real time back because it starts to work autonomously. So that offer sent, you're going to get an email right after the webinar with a link to all of the slides. So all of the tools we've shown, all of the research that we've referenced, the Fluency Matrix itself, all of that is coming to you. You can click through our slides. You can see in the speaker notes all of our links to all the detailed analysis that the team has done. And then, of course, if you want to join February 6th, we're opening the sales today. Cohorts have always sold out so far. So if you want to be a part of that next group of 40 leaders, then for sure jump on that chance. And then I hope to see you in February. And of course, remember that AI is great, but humans are better. And let's keep it that way. Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks Henrik for co-hosting, and thanks Hagit, Ingrid, and Arun so much for presenting. This was fantastic and hopefully very practical for people.
Yes.
All right. Thanks everyone.
Bye now.